Some stories start with pain and darkness, but end with happiness and hope. This is one of those stories. When she was only 9 years old, a young girl was standing in her mother's restaurant in Nigeria when a terrible accident happened. Hot cooking oil spilled over her body and burned 40% of her skin. Doctors were not sure if he would survive. Today, that same girl is world-famous beauty influencer with millions of followers. She recently married the love of her life in a beautiful wedding that showed her world that true love is about much more than appearance. This is the story of Shalom Blac, but it is also a story about how our biggest struggles can become our grateful strengths. Life does not always go the way we expect. Sometimes it creates a story even more beautiful than anything we could imagine. It was June 2022 at a house party in Hollywood. The room was filled with persons trying to make a name for themselves. Among them was Shalom Nicole, better known as Shalom Blac. Her face carried scars from the accident she survived as a child, but her confidence lit up the room. She had a presence that people could not ignore. Across the room, a man named Charles Knight noticed her and walked over to introduce himself. Later, Shalom said he was confident. I thought he owned the press. He did not own it. He was simply another guest at the party. But from the moment they met, there was something special between them. It was a connection that went beyond look first impression. They spent the entire night talking. As the city of Los Angeles slept, they started together sharing stories, dreams, and experience. Conversation after conversation brought them close together. What Charles did not know that night was Shalom's full story. He didn't know that when she was 9 years old in Zaria, Nigeria, she suffered several third-degree burns in a terrible accident at her mother's restaurant. He didn't know that she spent 4 months in the hospital fighting for her life. He didn't know that when she was 11 years old, she moved to the United States for medical treatment and surgeries, leaving behind everything she knew. Becoming Shalom Blac was not easy. She did not become only famous for makeup tutorials. She became famous because she challenged society's idea of beauty. Many people looked at her scars and believed she could never be beautiful. Shalom decided to prove them wrong. Every video she created was an act of courage. Every makeup tutorial was a message that beauty comes in many forms. Over time, millions of people around the world began following her journey. As Charles got to know her, he fell in love not only with her beauty, but also with her strength. He loved the story behind the scars. He loved the courage it took her to overcome years of pain and doubt. The relationship grew stronger. Together, they built something rare in a world that often focuses only on the perfection. They built a relationship based on honesty, trust, and real love. Then came another beautiful chapter in their story. Their son, Garden, was born. At only 18 months old, he became the living symbol of their love. When Garden looked at his mother, he did not see scars. He saw the mother who loved him. When Charles looked at Shalom, he did not see the imperfections. He saw the woman who changed his life. Then came February 2025. Charles had a surprise plan. The location was Santa Monica Beach. The weather was far from perfect. Dark cloud covered the sky. The air was cold. Fog filled the beach. Most people would have stayed home, but Charles insisted they take a walk by the water. The weather was terrible, Shalom later remembered. It was very fog. The beach was near empty. Still, Charles encouraged her to walk with him. Let's take some photo together, he said. Even though she was unsure, she agreed. As they stood near the ocean, Charles looked at her and said softly, "Close your eyes." Shalom did. A few moments later, he told her to open them. When she did, she saw Charles down on one knee. He was holding her in. His eyes were full of emotion. It was the moment every love story dreamed about. And then something incredible happened. As if nature itself wanted to celebrate with them, the sun suddenly broke through the clouds. Golden light shined down on the couple. It was a beautiful moment neither of them would ever forget. For many social media influencers, weddings become huge public events. They are expensive venue, sponsorship deal, designer partnership, and endless social media posts. But Shalom and Charles wanted something different. They chose to have a private and intimate wedding. No brand deal, no marketing company, no pressure, just family, love, and commitment. We decided to elope because of our love for each other, Shalom explained. Since our son Garden was born, we had always wanted to get married. It felt like the missing piece of our family. For them, the wedding was not about creating content, it was about creating a future together. For a woman who had spent years helping others feel beautiful, her wedding dress was very important. She worked with Nigerian design to Bobelen to create something unique. She wanted a dress inspired by famous fashion houses like Versace and Schiaparelli. The dress was bold, elegant, and unlike anything else. But when the first version arrived, the car was not what she wanted. Many brides would have accepted. Shalom did not. She had spent her whole life refusing to settle for less than she deserved. The designer immediately started making a new version in film. However, there was no gallant. It would arrive before the wedding. Time was running out. Then just 1 hour before Shalom was supposed to leave for her wedding trip, a DHL delivered arrived at her door. Inside was the perfect dress, the exact dress she had dreamed about. Some people would call it lucky, others would call it a miracle. For Shalom, it was another reminder that patience and determination are often rewarded. Even though she could have hired a famous makeup artist, Shalom decided to do her own makeup. As a makeup love, it was important for me to do my own makeup, she explained. Because of my burnt scalp, many makeup artists find it difficult to work with my skin over the year. I learned technique that worked best for me. The woman who had once been told she was not beautiful had become her own makeup artist on the most important day of her life.
That we're gonna use for Garden and Charlie.
Her book was alive by her best friend. It included white color lilies, orchids, and amaranthus flowers. Hidden inside the book was a special photo of her late mother. Although her mother could not be there physically, she remained close to Shalom's heart. On March 14, 2025, the couple arrived at the Beverly Hills Cat House. The ceremony was simple. There was no celebrity to share, no luxury venue, no giant crowd, only Shalom, Charles, the son Garden, and 10 close family members. Charles wore the same wedding shoes his father had worn. He also wore his favorite fragrance, Dylan Blue, which he considered lucky. His tuxedo was not custom-made, it made from his own clothes, because true love is not measured by expensive things. One of Shalom's favorite memories happened before the ceremony. She stepped out of an elevator wearing her wedding dress. For the first time, Charles and Garden saw her as a bride. The look on their face meant everything to her. She then said, "Years from now, this will be a memory I will cherish forever." The couple wrote personal vows for each other. However, they decided not to read them during the civil ceremony. Instead, they shared those private word letters away from everyone else. It became one of the most personal and meaningful moments of their wedding day. Garden's presence at the ceremony was also very important. He was not there simply from photograph. It represented the love that Shalom and Charles had created together. "Our son is the best representation of our love," Shalom explained. It only made sense for him to witness us making these promises. Our commitment is not only to each other, but also to him. After the ceremony, the family gathered for a small dinner at the Georgian Hotel in Santa Monica. Charles's parents had traveled all the way from England to be there. The evening was simple, warm, and full of love. No youth reception, no social media spectacle, just family and genuine happiness. When he asked what advice she would give couples planning an elopement, Shalom said, "Focus on what matters most to both of you. An elopement allows you to create a wedding that feels personal and meaningful without worrying about traditional expectations." But this story is about much more than a wedding. It is the story of a woman who turned pain into purpose, a woman who transformed her scar into strength, a woman who discovered that true beauty comes from courage, resilience, and self-acceptance. She went from being a little girl in Nigeria, fighting for very life after a terrible accident, to become a global beauty icon. She went from hospital room to wedding home. She went from being told she would never be beautiful to helping millions of people see beauty different. Shalom Blac's story reminds us that some of life's hardest moments can lead us to our greatest victories if we refuse to give up. Her love story with Charles Knight is not inspiring because it is perfect. It is inspiring because it is real. In a world where so many things are fake, the love is genuine. As Shalom said, remember this day is about celebrating your love in commitment to each other. Focus on the things that matter most to your journey together. Keep things simple, stay present, and allow space for genuine moments. That is where true beauty is found. Not in perfect photos, not in makeup, not in social media, but in having the courage to be yourself, scars and all. The little girl from Nigeria who nearly lost her life is now showing the world that real beauty looks like, and that may be the most beautiful love story of all. If this story touches your heart, please like this video and share it with someone who needs to hear this message. Let us know in the comments what inspired you most about Shalom's journey. We read every comment. And don't forget to subscribe for more incredible stories of love, courage, and resilience. Thanks for watching. My name is Prince of Peace. Until next time, ciao.